Well, greetings everyone. This should be a fun one. I'm going to go over the relationship zones from the YouTube channel Homath, which is a kind of a funny name. But he does a lot of videos that talk about the dynamics between men and women. And one of my favorite videos was his that shares this relationship zones chart, which has a really good blend of humor and reality and entertainment and education kind of all rolled into one. In a nutshell, this chart with all this stuff does a pretty good job. It's not a perfect job, but it does a pretty good job of summarizing and generalizing the interactions between men and women. And I was able to look at my life over the past decade plus of dating and relationships, and I found this to be reasonably accurate in the way I look at the women I come in contact with and the way those women look at me. So I'm going to go over this chart or this table or whatever you want to call it and just briefly summarize it, and then I'll share my own experiences in dating. And pretty much every box or place here, I've placed women in these boxes, and I've been in every single one of these boxes for women I've interacted with. So the gist of it is the left side is men, the right side is women. On the left side, men care about body or physical appearance, how a woman looks, how fit she is, how hot she is, her personality, is she helpful, supportive, kind, smart, uh, good to the guy. They, Men care about purity. Is the woman loyal? Does she have a lot of baggage? Is she modest? Does she have a lot of guy friends? He also put kids. I don't care as much about kids. If a woman's a single mom, it's if we have a strong connection, it's not really a problem. And then kind of the miscellaneous, which he calls a cabinet. Guys care about a small number of other things that a woman might have. And depending on how well a woman does with these four things, a guy will put her in one of these three boxes. Oh, which is kind of funny. A sweeper, which is you don't want anyone to know about. A sleeper, which you may or may not want people to know about. And then the keeper that you end up marrying or want to be exclusive with. And I found this to be true. The more hot a woman is to me, and not just hot in face, but physically fit. If she has a pleasant voice, she looks exceptionally good, and I have my own kind of type. I like women that are fit, beautiful, hot, and anywhere from skinny to just slightly thick, perfect. And I like very kind, loving, smart, intelligent, supportive, nurturing women. That would be my personality box. I do care about a woman's purity. I've dated women that have slept with oodles of men. Not only is there risk of disease with those women, but those women just cannot stay around for very long. They are constantly looking for the next best thing or the next hit of stimulation. The more men a woman has been with, and I would even argue that a guy who's been with a lot of women can also face that same challenge. And then I also agree here that a woman having various quirks about her, or if she's rich, or she has a nice place, it doesn't really matter to me. And but so then on the right side, so a lot more complicated for a woman. Guys generally just care about how attracted they are to a woman based on these things. And he did a good job of explaining why women can be confusing is because they have two axes here. The guy has the attraction 0 to 10 axis, and the attachment that goes hand in hand with that. The more hot and attractive a woman is to a man, the more he will feel attachment to her. I've found this to be true. If I'm interacting with a woman and she's a 10 out of 10 to me, it's a lot harder for me to kind of be nonchalant and not care around that woman. I find myself just naturally wanting to attach to her. But for women, he gives them an attraction scale and a security scale, or good guy bad guy, bad boy score, which is pretty funny. There's 12 zones versus three, or actually, there's 13 zones versus three. And so a woman, guys can get confused with women because women do care about how much you're investing, how kind you are to them, how good you look, and how well you dress, and are you a trustworthy monogamous guy with self-control. And he compares the cabinet for a guy to a galaxy for a woman, that women have a lot of various intriguing things that they care about, and I found this to be true. I've read the lists of women over the years that they have for the man they want, and they often have many, many different unique things that they care about. And so women care a lot more about these intangibles and miscellaneous things than guys do. Guys just are like, are you hot, kind, nice, and pure? You're 80% of the way there. But the problem is, and I face this problem in my dating adventures, is that many times with a woman I like, I get put in the friend zone because I'm so good. I'm exceptionally good at this security axis. I know how to make a woman feel comfortable, heard, and understood. I know how to serve and give and be there. And so I excel at this good guy score. In fact, it's something for me to work on, is to stop giving so much of this so quickly to women I date. But I do this exceptionally well. I know I do it exceptionally well. But the thing for me that I am working on, or have been working on for many years, is this attraction scale, which has all of these different things. I don't think I'll ever be this dark part of the attraction score, but some women like men with power, who feel superior, who always get their way, who feels like nobody can mess with them, a mob boss or somebody like that. I'm more in the light side of masculinity. He breaks it down to body and masculinity, and I'm more of an optimistic, self-assured, positive. I'm comfortable with myself and can make people feel comfortable, stoic. I have a very grounded frame. I'm very protective of people I care about, and I have some of these. I'm fun. I love to go out and dance and be playful and silly. I'm not dominant. I'm sort of awkward, so smoothness is something that I'm not good at. So there's things here that I'm working on. And for body, I spend a lot of time in the gym, and I've got height. For some reason, women like my hands, etc. But I also don't have the greatest style. I like wearing shorts and tank tops largely. But definitely, with the women I interact with that I end up getting friend zoned with, it's because I'm not exhibiting enough of this for them. And my failures in dating have been because of that, for sure. I have definitely seen that. And certainly there's been times where I just didn't feel like putting an effort in the good guy category and lost a few women along the way because of that. But that's far less of a situation than the attraction score, which I've lost many women on. So I have been in all of these boxes for women along my dating adventure. I have been in the not people zone. He says if there's no attraction and no investment or good guy from score, then a man is basically not even a person to a woman, just a thing, an entity that takes up space. But as you increase your investment in a woman, you can go to a creep where at least you'll get told to go away. At least you're recognized as a person because you've tried. You may have said hello or something, up to sugar daddies and a woman being more polite saying she's not interested, all the way up to the friend zone. I'm very familiar with the friend zone. I've had many women I've been attracted to and interested in friend zone me, or say I'm just not ready to date right now, but they like that I make them feel so comfortable and I listen to them and make them feel heard and understood. Who doesn't like that? So they want to keep me around. Fortunately, these days, I no longer accept that if I'm interested in a woman. Now, if I'm not interested in a woman, then I have no problem being in the friend zone. If I'm not interested romantically, it's like, sure, we can be totally be friends. As the attraction score goes up, but I've been all of these. I've had women want me to be their sugar daddy, and I said no, I will not. I will not be a woman's sugar daddy. One moment. All right, back to it. So yeah, I've been in these zones. I remember I was at a mall just practicing talking to women, and I had a woman just tell me to fuck off. That was somewhere in one of these zones. I've had women just flat out ignore me. I've had them tell me I'm not interested or lie and say I have a boyfriend. And occasionally a woman wants me to be the sugar daddy. I always say no. The vast majority have tried to put me in the friend zone. I've been the mistake zone for some women where there was some attraction, but I wasn't really investing that much. And she was like, why did I go on that date with you or make out with you or that kind of thing. I've had women I've seen for a short time. I could tell that they were trying to find a way to get out of it. I can spot all of these zones very quickly now. So it never becomes any kind of long drawn out process for me to be in one of these zones with a woman. If I'm in any of these zones, this little like Tetris piece here, I end, I eject from the situation pretty quickly. Unless I'm not attracted to a woman, then I'll gladly be her friend. Um, the settling zone is an interesting one. I'm not going to be someone's good enough because that will not last. She'll always be looking for these these quadrants. I've been a husband once in my life, and it takes a lot. A woman has to really like you to marry you, that's for sure. But it's not the best. It's still not the best situation you can do. And then as you are super attractive to a woman, you can become that bad boy where it doesn't matter if you're loyal or not. You just do it for her, and she can't get enough of you. But you're not really investing much. Those usually are short term and don't last very long. I've been the bad boy for women too, and it's very funny that to see certain women I've been the bad boy for, and certain ones I've been in the friend zone with. Just very interesting. When I've been the bad boy for a woman, it just means she was so attracted to me that I was like, I don't even have to lift a finger for her to want me. And so there's almost a natural occurrence of becoming a bad boy for that kind of woman because she'll just give you everything before you even do anything. And I've seen the reverse as well, where I really liked a woman and I was giving her gifts and things before she really did anything to deserve it. So it kind of goes both ways. Situationship mid is where you're kind of giving a little bit to a woman, but it confuses her because she's seeing you and you're doing a little bit for her. So, but she's confused why you're seeing her because she thinks if you're seeing her, it means that you must be ready to pick her, which is not true. I've been that guy, the mid-situationship guy, where I'm investing just a little bit, and the woman really likes me, and then eventually those end. In those situations, I can always tell, like, I'm like, oh man, I need to just tell her that this isn't going to last. And I have this nervousness in me until that finally happens, and then it's okay. But these days, I generally don't have bad boy or situationship mids happen anymore. If a woman's super attracted to me and I don't see her as like a keeper here or close to a keeper, I don't I don't engage with that situation. It means I don't have nearly as many dates as I used to. A situationship good, that's approaching the Prince Charming. I've had a few of these over the years. There are women I saw for many number of months or for well over a year with Chelsea, for instance. Um, Chelsea was an interesting case. I think I was her Prince Charming, and I had her as very close to being the keeper, but I just couldn't do it. So actually, I think I was here with her. So situationship good means that a woman really likes you and feels like you're going to pick her one day. And then a Prince Charming is you're fully investing, a woman's fully attracted. You have so many of these things here. Like, I've matched pretty much all the things on a woman's list of 20 or 30 things, and that put me as her Prince Charming. And there's been a few women over the last decade that I was her Prince Charming. And that's where you want to be as a man. It's just a lot of work, and you got to match a bunch of things on the woman's list, and she's got to be available, so it's super rare. This is the rarest of zones to be in with a woman. Like, out of hundreds of dates and women I've interacted with, there's maybe 3 to 5 women I was her Prince Charming. So interesting, he has this public secret line. So all these are kind of private and not known. They're not on Facebook. They're not on social media. For men, these sweepers are, if you're drunk one evening or it's been a long time. And I've had a few of those women where I just was like, I can't believe I did that. So I can relate that to this mistake zone here for the woman. And I've had sleepers, they're women I've seen for longer periods of time, but I just was like, I don't think I can take her all the way. I've had women where I wanted her to be my keeper, but she saw me in like the friend zone or a bad situationship or the mistake zone. I was usually in one of these categories for women I view as keepers. And for women I view as sleepers and below, I'm in like these. I'm in these zones. It's like the saying is that the ones you want don't want you, and the ones that want you, you don't want. So it's fascinating that as a woman goes higher up on this list, for a man, she generally moves to the right into this Tetris piece of categories. And that's interesting. And as a woman goes down in this list for a man, in her mind, she tends to rise up and go to the left in these husband zones, Prince Charming zones, situationship zones. Very interesting. So lots of information here, lots of parallels to my journey. And interesting to see the dynamic between men and women. Men care about attraction and they get more attached to women that are hotter to them. Women can seem confusing, but they're not. They want security and safety and good guy traits, and they want attraction, bad boy, masculine traits. So it's a lot harder as a man to get a woman in today's world than for a woman to get a man. That's how I see it anyways. That's my own limited perspective based on my own journey. I'd be curious to hear your perspective and experience, and if your experience has been this way. And if you're a woman and you have dated or you have a boyfriend or you have a husband, do you view him as your Prince Charming or in the husband zone or the settling zone, the good enough zone? And if you're a man and you're married, do you view the woman as a keeper, or were you kind of in the worst you would commit to, not quite keeper? Curious to hear your thoughts. It's an interesting chart. Lays it out very nicely. Lots of interesting stuff to look at. Go watch his video if you want to learn more. He explains it pretty well. But I can just kind of share my own experience from my own life. And it's fascinating that I've been in every single box, except this one. I've never been a woman's sugar daddy, even if they wanted me to. But I've been in every box for women. And it's interesting to see, like, there's almost a lever that if you pull the lever down here, you'll get women in these zones. And if you pull the lever up, you'll get women in these zones. Fascinating. Appreciate y'all listening. Love to hear your thoughts. and we'll see you in the next video.